from.
Welcome to the Rev Mel Show on TSRnetwork.com, where real people talk about real sex with really kinky people. I'm really excited about this evening, but a lot of things have gone on. And I know, don't mind the man in the yellow suit here. He's not here, but amazing things have happened. Friday night, I went to a new moon celebration, and I came home and I had this gluten-free cupcake, this little teeny piece of it. So I decided that I would have it. It was about 1:30 in the morning. I'd have this little teeny bite, and it got caught in my throat, and I could not get it out of my throat. I knew that I was going to fucking die. I knew that it was the end of my life, that there was nobody home. My daughter's dogs were barking, the cats were screaming, everything was going crazy, and finally I was able to get it out. But I'll tell you something. The only reason I was able to get it out was because the third attempt, I was quiet, and I sat there, and I went, okay, you got to let go. You just got to let go, Mel. You're either going to get it out or you're going to fucking die. And so what I did is I did this thing like the Exorcist. And I did this huge, loud noise, and it was absolutely unbearable. And I probably woke up all the neighbors, but you know what? I'm alive. Everything is good, and I'm really glad. But I have found out that 2,600 deaths a year in the United States are caused by people choking to death. I mean, that's a hell of a way to go. This is unconsensual breath play. I couldn't use my safe word because of the fact that I couldn't talk, I couldn't breathe. We have Carrie's in the chat room. We have guests 166 is in the chat room. Please let all your friends know that Dom Javier is on the TV. Woo!
Hey, thank you so much. How you doing, all you people out there in pervert land? You know, I can't believe it. For a woman who sucked as many cocks as you got, you know, I mean, that's like more than Winchell's got donuts. How can you get something jam in there? I
have a really strong gag reflex where I can't. I like small little peepees, not big ones. So how's your dick?
Fine.
See,
oh, I do have a question though for you.
What?
How big is your pussy?
That's funny. I've missed you.
Well, thank you. You know, I miss you too. You know, it's been difficult and stuff like this, but lately I was able to make parole, so I'm out now.
Okay, so. He wasn't in jail. Don't let him fool you. He's been working. You've been working on a company, right? You've been getting your business. That's why he's not back yet, because a lot's riding on that.
Because I'm building a business. I'm a new Rockefeller, J.P. Morgan, and I'm out there. I'm going to dominate money and make that bitch do what I want.
So in the chat room, how is the audio and the video? And we have wonderful Gina, who started our show for us, because I don't have a board guy. She's beautiful. I'll tell you something. She is absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely. They go, yay, Javier. Yeah, so, and I've been sending out on BetLife and Facebook and Twitter that you were going to be on the show. And everybody wrote back and go, I'm not coming.
Yeah?
Yeah, just joking.
That bald-headed bastard, I can't believe.
I'm going to put my hair back. I can't stand those bangs. There we go. All right.
Wait a second, hold on. I got to do the same thing, too, you know, kind of. You don't have a comb, do you, or a mirror?
Let's see.
Yo, dude! I'll meet at the whiskey this Saturday!
I was getting ready for the show, and I didn't give Javier the address, and he's calling me frantically, and he's going like, where the fuck are you, bitch? So
I was about to dial into Whores R Us and see if I can be able to get a number, but you know.
So what have you been up to besides your business? You're working at trying to get your business. You are coming back to TSR.
Oh, we're on the air?
It was like, you know, maybe he'll surprise me tonight with a little thing going, you know, I'm coming back, you know, but I rather doubt that he's going to do that to me because he hasn't talked to me. And can you see that thing moving? Watch this. Whoa, there we go.
You know, that's how she got in trouble with the thing. And, you know, I'm starting to have doubts if it was a cookie. Might have been something laced with the cookie.
No, it was not a cookie. It was a cupcake. I got
cupcake. Is that what you call them now?
Yeah, I got domed by a fucking cupcake.
Well, you know what, honey? You know, you can call it whatever you like, but you know what? When you're going down, you're going down. Well, you know what? I'll tell you what, everyone out there. This is something really serious. People do choke. You see them in restaurants. Unfortunately, it's the wrong people who choke, not the right ones. So, you know, what you can do, though, is you can always find yourself a chair and then press yourself against a chair and a diaphragm in order to be able to, you know, expel what it is that you have. So remember the power of the diaphragm. That's what a lot of opera singers and singers work at. And so, yeah, exactly. Stuff like that, you know. That was non-consensual, by the way. And if you
non-consensual opera.
That's right. If you push it aside, you can expel whatever it is you have. Incidentally, you know, ladies, you know what? Don't try to do that with your man. You know, he'll get upset. Just learn to swallow. Speaking of that.
So how do you like your cock? How do you like your cock sucked?
Huh?
How do you get your cock sucked?
Are you going to show me?
No.
I thought we just talked about gagging and choking, and already we're back to it again.
No, just wondering. Don't want to, you don't have to show it. Just asking.
You know, she's setting me up because we know what she really wants.
Oh, he's been teasing me. I don't know. You know, our hometown. No, it is our hometown, the Lear Assad.
It is.
Oh, wow.
It is.
Our hometown, basically, every time I come in there, he says, I know you want me. I know you want to suck my dick. And he goes, I know you've been saving yourself and you're going to become my submissive someday. And we joke back and forth. And, you know, he's the only one that can get away with it. I don't allow anybody else to speak to me like that. It's because he's one of my closest friends.
And plus, she also knows that I'm not going to do it. Unless I get paid. Remember that. Show me the money. Actually, you know what? Speaking of the Laird side, you know, we got some great things that are going to be happening. I know a lot of you people out there, out in you know, pervert land. You probably remembered that on my show we used to actually talk about Conquest Night on the Laird side. And we got a Conquest Night and Conquest Society, and you know, it's coming up this Friday. And we've actually instituted some new things. And by the way, if you're in the area, come down to the Laird Assad for Conquest Night, because I'm going to be collaring Gina Joy on that night. That's right. You know, it's
I tried to kidnap her, but she just wouldn't go for it. You know, I'm behind your back. I go up to her and I go, I want you. I want your body. I want you. And she keeps saying, no, my heart belongs to Daddy.
Yeah. I'm still trying to figure out who that bastard is. But I know he's out there.
Somewhere.
So, you know, it's one of the things is that unfortunately you see a lot of people that on FetLife, you know, collaring is just a click here, a click there. Okay, and really, it's a public ceremony. There has to be something. It has to mean something. It has to have value. It's supposed to have something inside of the community. And one of the ideas of bringing back collaring ceremonies is at the Conquest parties, and it's a great time to start. It's the 4th of July, and it's wonderful to get the tradition going again. Because after all, you know, we are family, we're our community, and it's a wonderful way for people to be able to share, you know, what we're all about in such an intimate way, especially because of the DSMS nature of our relationships. And it's something to give to the women too. I mean, you know, the women, they work hard to be able to earn that collar. The philosophy of the collar is it has a very strong social significance.
It's like a marriage.
Well,
it can be.
I'm running away now. Okay, sorry.
No, we value it as much as we value the commitment. In a marriage, you have the state, and then when you get a divorce, and you lose everything because a woman takes it off. But in the collaring ceremony, it really signifies that person is committed. It is a formal commitment, and we really speak highly of it, and it's really important in our life choice.
Well, I mean, even in marriage, I mean, what do you call a collar? It's a ring around a woman's finger.
Yeah.
I mean, in some ways, you can always joke around with the vanilla on that. To us, straight dominant men, the elite of women, huh?
You straight?
I'm sorry, honey. I got a tattoo right above my asshole. It says exit only.
Well, you get a dick near my ass. I go, I saw that before this. But you already know that.
No, yeah.
Because I've said it 50 million times.
What? No. The only time, last time you said that with only one dick, said what? There's only one? But the thing is that to us, the women are a treasure.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they are. And to us, the elite of womanhood is the woman who can surrender to the man, who earned that collar, who actually worked very hard, and they do. They work very hard, and it's also too with submissive men with their male or female dominance too. The idea, they work, they put in effort, they test, they've gone through trials, and so they're much more than just the regular submissive slave.
Mm-hmm.
This is a person who's proven himself, and the collar is a medal. It's an award. It's also a social standing. It's a way to express that here is a person who has a social status because they've earned the right. They've proven themselves to be able to be a part of a person's life, a part of a person's kingdom or queendom, and to wear that collar. So this is why, when you wear a collar, it's something of pride. It's something that you have to wear with honor. It's something because you not only do you represent the person who gave it to you, but you also represent yourself, and yourself as a status and what you've gone to earn it.
Do you think that all I'm talking when I'm going to talk about dominance, mm-hmm. I refer to both male and female. Mm-hmm. I'm not just saying male dominance. I don't believe. Yeah. I'm a dominant person. I will always be a dominant person, and I have that dominant personality. And do you think that all dominants have that same view about what a collar represents? And do you think that they honor the submissives or the slaves like you do?
Well, unfortunately, some people could say we're kind of old school on this. Some people mm-hmm. have different, but because of the new technology, FetLife, Collar Me, Alt, Yahoo, we've gone away from the personal, which was collaring in a dungeon and among community, mm-hmm. where everybody was witnesses and everybody saw and knew. Mm-hmm. And so that elevated the person in front of the community. It's too easy now to simply say, click, you're my slave, and put it on FetLife.
Yeah, I used to facilitate a lot of collaring ceremonies. I mean, a lot of them. And I have not facilitated one in years. Yeah. I mean, I was having them. I mean, we did one New Year's Eve at the Lear, and they had the Phantom of the Opera as their theme. Mm-hmm. They played the music, and they had candles all over the place. I mean, it was extraordinary. It was almost like a wedding. It was on New Year's. It was fabulous. And I have not done a collaring ceremony in years.
I haven't seen one in 3 years.
Wow.
And so, Conquest Society and the Conquest parties we're talking about bringing back a sense of value and excellence in men. This is one of the reasons why we introduced a dress code, to go back to what Conquest was all about.
What do you mean dress code?
Well, what we're doing is that men now are required to wear suits and ties, or blazer and sport coats with ties, or maybe even a tuxedo, black tie, mm-hmm. when they enter into the lair on Conquest night. Now,
isn't that how it originated? Wasn't that the original theme? I mean, I think it was, because I remember when I first started going to Lear 14 years ago, mm-hmm. that was the original thought, and nobody adhered to it.
Well, a lot of, there's different definitions of what can be considered, appropriate dress. I mean, there's really, people can dress however they want when they're doing it at different type of parties, but there's certain themes, there's certain standards that you can say that we're trying to raise the bar mm-hmm. more than what the average was. And this is what we're trying to do now with Conquest. We want dominant alphas, mm-hmm. okay, alpha doms. And part of that is to express themselves, is to be able to look like dominant alphas.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, if you take a look at what in society, you know, how do the alpha males dress? How do the leaders of the world dress? I mean, you can look at the president of the United States. You can look at the leaders, chairmen of the boards of any corporations, chairmen of nonprofits.
Mm-hmm.
You can take whatever, and whenever they say, what is the uniform of a dominant man? And it's usually a suit and tie.
Yeah.
And this is something that's, if you take a look at some of the novels, like, for instance, 50 Shades of Grey, or The Story of O, the dominant men, the alpha dominants in there, wore suits and ties.
Yeah.
And it's not to say that we're saying that we're better than or something. It's just different. I mean, there are people who enjoy, you know, to wear different type of costumes, different type of clothing, because they identify, because they look and they say, well, this is how I feel comfortable in myself. This is how I enjoy it. This is who I associate with, this group or this. And that's totally fine. I mean, there has to be a place for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And so at Conquest Society and Conquest Night, we're going back to the origins, which is strong, dominant men who want excellence in all aspects of their life, that they're actually dominant in everything.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just simply, well, when I walk through the dungeon door, I become a dominant, put on my dom hat, and then when I leave, I take my dom hat off. No, we're wanting men that are, this is who they are, or men who desire to be like this, but just don't know how.
Yeah.
And as my friend Kane says, you know, iron sharpens iron.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, we'll provide an environment where men can learn, and we want to, and women too. You know, there are going to be classes that are going to be given before the Conquest parties now. We're going to be encouraging that, both for men and women, because there's knowledge for both.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot that our women would love to learn, be able to how to, you know, for instance, what their role is, and how they can excel in their role, and how can they excel inside of relationships. And for the men too. Men really don't have a clear understanding many times of what DS is.
Mm-hmm.
They understand BDSM.
What is DS to you?
Well, remember, there are two different things when we consider BDSM and your DSMS. You know, BDSM is play.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. It's about the actual, you know, the play and the parameters that it sets. You know, the limits that it has. You can actually be a top and not be dominant.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you could be a bottom and you could not be a submissive. I mean, this is because it's talking about a particular play and the different aspects of play. And we look, of course, at safety considerations. We take a look at other things from what the people get from that in their personal life and what they enjoy. But you could actually be in DS and not be in BDSM.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly like you can be in BDSM and not DS. DSMS is really about relationships. That's what it is. At the core value, it's really about relationships. Whereas BDSM is like a verb. It's an action. It's
Mm-hmm.
it's a particular type of play or various plays. So you can actually have a DSMS relationship without BDSM, as well as vice versa.
Yeah.
And so to DS, your dominant submissive in our particular genre is talking about patriarchal dominance.
Patriarchal dominance.
This is what we look at.
I can't say that word.
Patriarchal.
Patriarchal.
Wait a second, hold on. I think you still got a little cupcake in there. And we look at it as patriarchal dominance from our perspective. Of course, there's different types of definitions of what the dominant submissive relationship is, and that's, you know, because it is relationships and because they're very unique and very individualized. But in ours, it's the man taking the leadership role.
Yeah.
And the woman, right, being able to free themselves so that they can surrender. And from that point, each individual relationship defines itself.
Mm-hmm.
There are people who love high protocols. Some may have lower. Some may have no protocols at all.
Do you have protocol?
You know what? My protocols...
Come on, bitch. No, just
I have... Okay, yeah, really.
No.
Normally,
no.
It depends on what is it that I'm doing. For certain type of plays, I might do that. I may introduce it. And a lot of it has to do with the woman. We work with our women at different levels because each woman is different.
Yeah.
Somebody who has much more experience may require less protocol if you're training her. simply because of her experience and background and how she's adjusting to the training. There are other women who may be new who may actually need more of it, simply because they're learning new skills, and therefore they need more structure because they haven't had it before.
So when you meet a potential submissive or a slave, do you just, the minute you meet them, do you put on a Velcro collar?
Oh, no. You know what? That's a big mistake. Listen, what normally we do is it has to do with we're talking about human beings. We're talking about women.
No, they're slaves and submissives.
No, they're not. They're women.
No,
okay.
Well, there's men too, slaves and submissives. All you do is say you beat them up and you feed them scraps and you make them sleep on the floors. And if they do my bidding, they
Well, you can do that for fun, as part of what we do later on. But if you really want to keep the person, you're talking about a human being, and so people have different motivations, and they have different experiences, and they have different backgrounds. One of the things that you want to look for is this a person who fits into your life? As a male dom, or as a female dominant, we create a world. We are the king or the queen of our world. And as such, we have to have definition of what our world is. We have to be able to know ourselves so that we can be able to know what to offer the person. So when the person comes in and say, I want to join your world, you need to know what your world is. That's the first step. Because if you don't know who to thine own self be true, if you do not know who you are, what you desire, what you need, what you can be able to provide, how are you going to lead these other people? So that's the first step. And once you know that, then you can be able to realize, is this a person who can fit in my world, and will she be happy? Can they progress and become better? Because that's eventually what we want. We want people to come into our lives to better our lives, but then it's also for them to better their lives too.
Okay.
And that may take a while for, as you're discovering this, because you need to know what the motivation of the person is.
Okay, I hear that the phrase all the time that we're going to make them better. Okay, this is a really important question because this is something we do not talk about. Okay, what constitutes a dominant to know what is best for another human being? And because a lot of people ask that question, they'll say, I'm here to make you better in your life.
Well,
what gives us the power and the knowledge and the education to be able to do this? We hear this all the time. But before you answer that question, if you are watching the show and you're not in the chat room, please go to TSRnetwork.com and go to Watch Live and come into the chat room, and please ask us some questions. So far we have only a few people in the chat room. I'm not at the board, so I can't see exactly how many people are watching the show. So, so get in here. Get your butts in here. That's an order. See, I'm making their life better.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, before you can make a person's life better, you got to make your own life better. That's the thing. That's trick number one.
So if I was a junkie, and I had a messy house, I had no job, and I did crazy, crazy things, would I be, and I'm a dominant because I'm a pushy motherfucker, would I really be an ideal person to teach somebody else how to take care of themselves?
No, you know what it is? It's like, if you want to become a millionaire, why are you talking to a bum? If you want to become a millionaire, you talk to millionaires. If people may have dominant skills and be in those situations, they may actually dominate another person. Will they be successful? Chances are not, because of the repair work that needs to be done in their own personal life. Dominance is leadership, and leaders have to set an example. When I was in the Army, we were taught lead by example. So, trying the best to excel in our own personal lives, trying to improve in it, will give us the credibility, and will also give us the knowledge on how to help others do it.
I thought dominance was putting on a leather vest and leather pants and beating your chest and saying you're dominant.
Well,
oh, am I going to get hate mail for that one?
Yeah.
You know me.
You can send it to Rev Mel, care of Folsom State Prison.
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, it isn't the costume that you wear. It is the person that's underneath the clothing. I mean, it is the
If you
person.
want to be successful, you can go ahead and do anything you want. You can wear a Star Trek uniform and call yourself a Trekkie and come on and say, I'm Captain Kirk today. And you know what? It doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be successful in your leadership role helping the other person.
Mm-hmm.
Because remember, you know, there is recruitment, and you vet, okay?
What do you mean recruitment?
Well, for instance, if you're going to recruit,
I mean, I know an army. I go to a recruiter, and I go to an army recruiter and says I want to join the military, and they recruit me, or they pass me literature. Do we pass out literature? How do we recruit somebody?
Okay, now that's a whole different ballgame, and there's so many different ways on how you can meet people. I mean, this is and that can take, you know, a whole 2-3, you know, shows.
I just go on Collar Me, AKA now Collar Space, and look for a hot, submissive man that's tall, and write him and say, I own you, you are mine.
Yeah, and he turns out to be a 13-year-old boy in Wisconsin. Or he could be Master God, sir.
Carrie, Little Piggy says, I totally agree with Dom Javier. Led by example is a great motto. That should be the motto of Conquest.
Well, you know what? We're going to provide a place so that men who are leaders
mm-hmm.
and men who want to learn to become leaders will have a place they can go.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully, you know, women always complain about where are the real men? Where can I find them? We'll hopefully be able to provide a place where they can come and say, listen, we have one spot where you can come and try and meet them.
You know, I just saw an article. I just saw a posting on FetLife that got thousands of people saying that they loved it, and I thought, oh, they're going to hate me for this one. I thought it was the most vile, horrible posting that I've seen. There was so much hate in it. You know, you can't find anyone because you think that you're a princess, and grow up, and it was so horrible, and everybody liked it. And they were saying, this is just what I was thinking. How dare they yell at someone that can't find someone that they can be in a relationship with? It was volatile. It grossed me out so much. And all these people, hundreds of people in our community said they liked it. Well, I was appalled by it.
Yeah, well, you know,
where's the compassion?
Unfortunately, we have a lot of hurt people here.
Woo! Yes.
You know, this is the place where a lot of people come because nowhere else has solved their problem. Mm-hmm. And they hope that the problem be solved here. And the truth is that it doesn't matter where you're at or where you go, you have to solve your own problem. Mm-hmm. And until people start to realize that and start to work toward that, they're really never going to move forward. A lot of the people that you see with some of this anger or some of this insecurity, you know, a lot of it sometimes comes from a place where they're hurt. Mm-hmm. Now, when you start to talk to them, you realize most of it's because of their own fault sometimes.
Oh, yeah, we make bad choices.
Mistakes, and we make choices, and we have to understand that and live with it. Yeah. And all, you know, that's what you do is you carry forward. One of the ways that a dominant can be able to avoid some of the mistakes, some of these problems, is to set a set of core principles. Mm-hmm. And follow those core principles. If the person doesn't actually, you know, adhere or work with your worldview, with your core principles, you understand that it has nothing to do with you as an individual. It's not your fault. It may not even be the other person's fault. Mm-hmm. But if you stand with those principles and the other person understands that, then you can avoid a lot of hurt and rejection. The problem what happens is that we put too much emphasis and hope that the other person will save us, change us, help us. And it's really basically an excuse from us actually working on ourselves. We just project it to the other person. When the other person lets us down, which we know they are because we're setting them up for it, well, then we take it personally and say it's all their fault.
But as a dominant, and we say we want to make you in better condition, don't we have to take that responsibility and really show it by the actions that we show an individual? I mean, I agree with you 100% that when you meet a submissive, you know, and we have to also take a look at some of the submissives that do not have integrity.
Well, sure.
I mean, that's really important.
We
know stories.
We're talking about the dominant right now, but there's a lot of flakes out there.
Yeah.
And that's why creating your world with your laws, your principles, your values, and trying to have that will help you with that. I mean, there are women that I've come across who don't have the same value system as I do, and I know that protects me. I'm not gonna think with my cock. I'm not gonna simply say, "Wow, I'm gonna put up with a lot of bullshit, and I'm gonna have to deal with a lot of craziness and accept a lot of things that go contrary to my beliefs, simply because I'm just interested in her pussy." Because that doesn't show my dominance. It doesn't show my control. It shows her dominance. It shows that her pussy is dominating my values, my core principles. It shows me, but it doesn't show any leadership on my part.
It also shows that you're not thinking with your cock. I mean, a lot of
if you want to be successful, you can.
Yeah.
You can be motivated by your cock, of course, but you cannot let that violate the principles of who you are, because as a leader, leadership means taking tough decisions that will not go with what emotionally we desire and want. And many times it's very hard that we have to say no, that we have to walk away. A part of us may not want to, but many times we have to do the right thing, not only for ourselves, but for the other person too. And, to guys out there, you should do that, because at least if it doesn't work out, you gain respect for yourself, and the other person will respect you. Because at least they know, you know what, this guy wasn't just some little schmuck out there like every other guy. I know it didn't work out, but at least I can respect him.
Yeah. You talked about the Lyricide doing conquest and having a dress code. And he's going to light up the cigar, and there's no air going on in here. It's going to get crazy.
Okay, now, as you know, some people think, is Dom Javier a sadist?
Oh, yeah. So you're going to blow my place out with
the only reason why I would smoke here now is just to fuck with her. That's it.
But then it's going to stay in my curtains and my place.
That's right. And you know what?
At the studio, it was different.
It would just be like my cum on your blue dress.
Okay.
You can save it, and you'll know that I was there for a long time.
I'm going to make a Domly choice. Let's not do this evening. See, and he respects me. He will maybe do what he wants to do, but I know that he respects me as a human being, and he knows that I do. People are aware of the fact that I lost the studio. Now I'm living in this little area, and
yeah, it's actually.
But you can put it up there and look.
It's actually across the train tracks over in Boyle Heights.
I almost did.
Gang infested.
I almost did one in that area. I looked at one somewhere around that area. I don't remember.
Yeah, but the community got together and made sure you didn't move in.
Oh, is that what it is? Yeah. They go, we don't want the bad riffraff.
No, they didn't. They were afraid property values would lower. Yeah. And I'm glad that you used your, what was the name, Sally Smith? Is that the name you used to get into this place?
Yes. But I do love cigar smoke, and I'm not bothered by it, but I'm trying to get him back here, and if he may have to use that as a negotiation.
Why do you think I'm doing this? I just smell a little sickity.
So tell me a joke. Come on.
Oh well, hey, you know what?
Come on,
we're talking about the railroad tracks, right?
Yeah.
We're talking about, and stuff. Funny thing that actually happened. There was these 3 homeless guys, right? And all of a sudden, one of them says, "Hey, where the hell have you been?" One of the guys had disappeared. Where have you been? He says, "You never believe what happened." He says, "I found this woman tied up, laying on a railroad tracks. I went over, I untied her, right? And we've been having non-stop sex for 3 days. It's been non-stop, The guys were insane. That's incredible." He says, "Well, at least you get a blowjob?" Because I couldn't find the head.
Oh. You're bad. You're bad. He has these horrible jokes.
Yeah, she loves them.
He tells the most horrible jokes. And one of the reasons why I got these chairs, these leather chairs, was for Dom Javier, for when he comes back with his show. And I bought these especially just for you. You know, so reeling him in. Ooh, reeling him in. I'm not getting down on my knees.
There you
So
go.
we're both adjusting. Yeah. Watch this.
I mean, she'll do a bikini car wash to raise money, but she won't get on her knees.
No.
Can't help it, this woman here.
No.
Anyways, how's everybody out in TV land? Anyway, is there any?
There's not that many people.
Got any questions? Got any questions for me?
And I don't know how many people are watching the show because I can't see the board. So, but it's it's okay. I don't care. Because this is about you and I connecting.
No, it ain't. It's about me. It's always about me.
So you hang to the left or hang to the right?
I hang inside.
Are you a shower or a grower?
Huh?
Are you a shower or a grower?
Am I a shower or grower? What the hell is that?
You don't know what a shower or a grower is?
No, I don't hang. I don't go to the same place as you go.
I'm going to teach Javier something. Dom Javier.
That's right.
A shower means that when you're not grown completely, that you can still see that you got a lot of junk. And that's a shower. A grower means it looks like a little baby pee-pee, and then it gets really big because it pops out.
Are there children watching the show?
No. Why would we have children watching the show?
I don't know. Maybe you screwed up and then got crossed with the Disney Channel or something like that.
Do you have a shower or a grower?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm usually preoccupied whipping some ass when that usually goes around. Very rare do I go down there and check.
Does spanking butt and dominating somebody get you horny?
You know what? A woman's submission. Her surrender.
I think we lost everybody in the chat room. They didn't want to know if you were a shower or a grower.
Thank you out there.
Bada bing.
If you want to find out, you're going to have to put a petition together.
What is a petition?
Well, here we go. The process. Like I said, there's the process of vetting when you first meet somebody, and then the other part, which a lot of dominants really need to work on, is management. You gotta
manage those whores.
You gotta manage those whores. Every good dom's got a little pimp in them. But it's when you're going through the vetting process, when you're starting to realize that this is a person that you want to get a commitment from, you should ask them to petition you. And some people call it a letter of intent, some petition. Actually, we did an entire show on it that Kane did when I had my show. When we did a whole thing on letters of petition, and you could actually see that show when you go to the Dom Javier Show group on FetLife and click right there.
Good.
Anyway,
and we'll get him back. Write him. Petition Dom Javier. All of your fans, all of the fans that are fans of Dom Javier.
What are you talking about? My fans are right here, the two of you.
No.
And she has no choice. She has to be my fan.
No.
But once the great thing about a petition is, and some of us have rules that no sex until we get a petition. There's some of that, and there's a reason behind all of that. And I'm going to explain to it, and this is something that most people should know.
How do you know if they can give you a really good blowjob if you have not experienced it? So why would you accept a petition from someone that you haven't had sex with or gotten a blowjob from? She might be really bad.
She may be really bad at a blowjob, but it's your job to train her to give you the blowjob that you like. Because every man is different, and every man has different type of ways they like their blowjob. So a good dominant will show the woman, this is the way I like it. This is the way you're supposed to do it.
Well, I'll tell you something. I would never, ever, 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 and I love him dearly, I would never, ever give Sire Kane a blowjob. There's a reason why. Because he would make me put my hands behind my head, and he would choke the death out of me. We already know that.
Well, you know what?
I love him.
Wait a second, hold on. If that would have happened,
he would not let me use my hand.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what. If that would have happened, you would have been choking the other night because your throat would have been conditioned. So you see, that's why you choked. You choked because you're not choking on his cock.
So
if you spend more time choking on his cock, you'll spend less time choking on food.
So I have to become Cain submissive, for he can train me, for he can, you know,
To
make
save your
me
life,
a better cocksucker.
No. More than just being a better cocksucker. It's to save your life, so you don't choke on a Twinkie again.
It wasn't a Twinkie, it was a cupcake.
Yeah, you see?
It was a gluten-free cupcake. Stay away from gluten-free cupcakes.
So, if when I asked the girl for the petition,
Let's get serious.
let's get serious.
Let's get serious.
One of the things is that I'm making a commitment to her, just to dedicate time, effort, money, whatever it is, that I've told her that
I can get paid for being your submissive?
No, but you. You're lucky I didn't go to AFTRA and ask for union dues.
It doesn't apply to internet shows.
Oh, yeah, right.
It doesn't.
We're TV. No, it doesn't matter.
Oh, just because I put BDSM TV, AFTRA's going to go after me?
Yep. If we go there. So this is Hollywood. It's a union town, So when it comes to that,
gotta have some fun.
If we, by me asking for her for that, and I'm also saying to her that I'm not going to use you. I'm not just going to simply bang you today and dump you tomorrow with all these empty promises. Now, from her, I'm getting a commitment from her to know that she's not a flake, that she's willing to make the effort, that she's going to put in the time, and that she's actually serious about this. There's also another very important reason. The important reason is if you want to stay out of jail, you better have a piece of paper that actually says you're into this stuff.
But will that actually keep you out of jail?
Well, put it
because
this way.
Because the courts do not recognize safe, sane, and
Well,
consensual.
let me tell you. Here's a clear hypothetical. Let's say you play in a dungeon, okay, which I always suggest. First time you ever play with somebody, if you don't have a petition from a person, you should play in a public dungeon for safety for both parties. But if you get into a relationship with her, that petition really is almost like a permission slip. If let's say she has bruises on her ass and bruises on her legs, and her friends see that, or her family, and they start giving her a lot of shit for it, or maybe she has a boyfriend and she didn't tell you, and he sees it, all of a sudden her way out is call the cops. Or maybe her friends will say, we'll call the cops because she's too controlled and manipulated, so let's call the cops. So the police, what they're going to do is a detective's going to come and talk to you. And you can say, we have a BDSM relationship. And where did this stuff occur? Well, it occurred in her apartment. Now, it's going to be pretty hard. It's going to be pretty hard to be able to prove that that's a BDSM relationship. If you have a document signed by her stating that this is what she's willing to do and this is what she wants to do, then all of a sudden you have credibility because you can simply say, yes, I gave her those bruises in her place. It was a part of play. We're into this. Here's a document signed by her, written by her, that states this is what we do. So it's
But when is that document presented? Is it presented? I mean, we've all played with people that we've never had those things signed. And is it when they give you the petition? But then you're already really basically, if they petition you, you probably already have played with them, or you probably already started some sort of relationship.
It's usually before you ask for a petition, you've already started the process of getting to know the person and realize this is a person that I want to take to the next level and focus on training with the possibility of maybe even making them my property. Okay? So by that time, you should have at least spent some time in a public dungeon, if you have one, which is best. If you don't have a public dungeon and you have to play in private homes or things like that, you should get a release form from them before you start that. This is simply to protect yourself.
So it'd be the same thing when you're hiring a model. If you have a release form, there's a gentleman that I know of that would take a a sign, and they would have her write a note on it saying that my name is such and such, and I'm into BDSM, I'm doing consensual play. She would hold it in front of her, he would take a photograph, and he would file it.
Yeah.
And he had it as a protection.
Yeah, and you have to do that. I mean, it's nowadays, and it not could be that the bottom all of a sudden it wants to screw you. It can have nothing to do with her. It could be her mom or people at work. It could be somebody else. It could be a neighbor who has a thing against this old Dom that she hated and now wants to be able to try to take it out, you know, by saving this girl.
I mean, like building the bad reputation like I built?
You know, definitely. And, you know, so that's a good idea. There's also another part, too. The petition also really works great as a management tool. Because later on, especially if she's new, and she says, well, I'm not going to do this. I didn't say I'm going to do this. I never suggested this. You could always pop it out and show it to her. Is this your handwriting? And is this your signature?
So what is in the petition? I mean, the submissive or the slave writes a petition.
Well, you can have ready-made petitions for them. You can help them by asking them what it is that you want. And they also have the ability to write what they need and what they can give.
Is this a petition for consideration?
Well, you know what? Let's just call it a permission slip to open up a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and you can call it what you like, but it's always a very good idea to be able to have that because it shows a seriousness and commitment on both parts,
mm-hmm.
as well as gives you the opportunity to use it as a management tool to be able to set out like a preamble to the relationship,
mm-hmm.
you know, so that you know which direction you're going to be headed toward. And it's nice to be able to have it in writing. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to collar the person. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're actually going to take the person into consideration. It's just simply a good idea that if you are in a relationship with a person, that you already establish this introduction to the relationship in a form in which both people can clearly understand and where you get commitments from the people.
Does it also signify the fact that a submissive, whether male or female, is interested in being in some way in a committed sort of relationship?
Well, sure. They can actually put it inside there. You know, that's the understanding. Many times, you could simply say, well, you know, this person is my play partner, in which case you don't need a petition. We meet at the Lair de Sade every Saturday, and we play.
If you guys see me looking over here, we have technology here. We have an iPad that we're seeing the chat room. So that's why I'm not ignoring my guest. I would never ignore my guest. I always give them tremendous respect. But I had it over here, but it felt so weird. So I'm really interested in what I'm saying. So when what he's saying, so if I look away, please. I'm not dishonoring him or not disrespecting him or that I'm not interested in what he's saying. I am extremely interested in what he's saying. And if you're watching the show and you've not come into the chat room, you're a very, very bad little girl. You're a very bad boy. Get into the chat room.
Actually, she's snorting coke on the table there. She's not letting me know.
Oh, I'd have to do this.
Yeah. She's an 80s chick.
No, so let's get back to the petition. So hypothetically, you've met somebody, you've played maybe a couple times, or you've had some correspondence with them. Is it the dominant that sets the rules and says, this is what I desire from you? Do you sit down and talk to somebody and say, and teach them that you have to give me,
Well, remember, a lot of this has to do with the experience of the person.
Because a lot of people, there's a lot of people
you're going to find women
who
have never done it. You can see women who've never actually, or men, submissive or bottom, who's never given a petition before.
Mm-hmm.
They're excited about getting into a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? This also acts as a little break. I've seen so many people where they meet a girl one week, the following week she's colored.
Oh.
And
even a month, or even after a month they're in consideration. It's ridiculous.
Gina, I had in consideration as of what we started was in March of last year, and I'm collaring her this Saturday.
Congratulations! And it'll be the first time I've been to Conquest in years.
Yeah.
And I'm coming just because you're collaring her.
And we're also going to...
And it's 4th of July.
That's 4th of July, and I got a firecracker for you.
So I really think that if you are out and about, and I think that you've had your 4th of July, you know, functions with your families and your barbecues, come over to the lair.
Come to the lair to side. Hey, listen, it's going to be great. It's Conquest Night for all of you guys that are straight dominant men. This is the place to be. All right, Alpha Doms, not Beta Doms, Alpha Doms.
And I'm not a male, but they do accept me.
But you know what? Let me tell you something. There are dominant women, okay, that are dominant who love strong men. You know, and there is no reason why you cannot enjoy the company of a strong man. Matter of fact, you may enter into a relationship. There are relationships that have started. I mean, there are women that I know who love to play as a dominant, but in their personal life or sex life, they love to take care of daddy. She loves having her hair pulled and her ass smacked when she's being done by the hind. You know.
I'm ignoring him now.
You know, believe me, I know.
No. I don't have a submissive bone in my body.
Yeah.
But I also am very giving. Yeah, I'm a mother nature.
You love men.
Mother. Yeah, I love men. I do like strong men.
Yeah.
I couldn't be with a submissive that isn't strong. If I had a slave, it would have to be a strong alpha slave that knows themselves. That I don't have to tell them 2 times to do something.
But you know, for our play, of course, Conquest has been traditionally. I mean, Conquest is the longest running party, one of the longest running parties. It originally got started was that Kane, right? You know, playing with Karina, they would go to these swing clubs and they went to these different places and people would do play and there was different organizations. And he said, you know, there's a lot of doms out there, you know, just like us, male doms, and they have their female submissives and slaves. Why don't we throw our own party for ourselves?
They did it. Now,
you know?
It was awesome.
And they did it on Karina's birthday. And that was the first Conquest party. And that started back in the 1990s. And it's been one of the longest running ever since then. The first Friday of every month, we've had this party, this Conquest party. And Conquest Society was something that was another one of his great ideas in 2003. And now Conquest Society is getting its legs and formation, and it's starting to move now because now's the time. And it's a wonderful time because we really want to seek men and women to live excellent lives. And we're Conquest Society, some of the ideas is it's more than just simply the Conquest play party. You know, we're also going to be doing events outside of you know, the regular dungeon events. You know, we're going to be doing all kinds of different educational things, things for fun, everything from wine tastings to picnics to cigar socials to dinners, black tie parties. You know, we're going to be doing those things. We're going to be doing a lot of events where, as society looks at us, they're going to say the elegant, classy, social people are the people that are into DS and MS. You know, because we're leaders in our own right, in our own personal lives, we should also be leaders of the community and society as a whole.
Yeah. And
set the standard where we're not looked at as, you know, some kind of weird, like the stereotypes that they have now. Whereas when people would come to the Conquest party and they would say, look at all these great-looking men and women, look at the way they dress, this is a place where I want to be.
Yeah.
I want to get to know these people. Or if we're doing functions at restaurants or hotels or other places, people say, what a classy group, we want them back. And, you know, we're going to progress to help people to become the best they can be. And, you know, this is actually right now, at this time, there are so many things that are developing that are moving in this direction. Even religious conservatives, there is this thing called Christian domestic discipline, you know, and even in the vanilla world, people are coming around.
I'm not even going to go there.
Put that tongue down.
No.
So, you know, I bring that up because even in the vanilla world, there's this sense of, you know, power dynamics, you know, coupled with uh, aggressive sex, we could call it BDSM, more advanced sex. And there's not only, it's gone from beyond curiosity to a thing where let's participate in it, we feel comfortable enough to do it, and maybe even be comfortable to be a part of it socially.
Mm-hmm.
And, since conquest is about DS and about MS, it's about relationships, we can attract a lot of people who may shy away from just BDSM only. And it's not to say we don't welcome BDSM, because that's what a lot of us are all about. We are. But there are some people who simply say, I love a master-slave relationship, but we don't do that. But they still have a place where they can come and learn. And there are people who say, I love BDSM with my, master-slave relationship, but I love, classy people who really look like they're the dominant of society as well as the dominant of their slave.
So what we are going to get is back to the 50s when Ricky Ricardo used to come home. He was always dressed up in a tie. He goes, Lucy, you're going to get a spanking.
Well, tell you what, we're going to go there, and we're going to go even farther back than that. It really is. And, just because, people confuse. They think patriarchal dominance is anti-woman. And it has nothing to do whatsoever. Me and I can tell you, Kane, Dragon, the guys that we all want our women to be strong and successful. We want them to have individual lives. We want them, I tell my girls, Gina here, spend time with her family. I've always encouraged it.
Oh, yeah.
I've always thought it's important. Yeah. Her also having her ability to develop herself as a human being. I don't want a doormat. None of us want doormats.
No.
We don't want that. Women that surrender themselves to a man are strong women, because it takes a lot of courage to be able to do that. There are a lot of women who would love to do that, but they're scared. They're fearful.
In the chat room, it says, anyone from Tulsa? I don't know. I'm not from Tulsa. Are you from Tulsa, Arizona?
No, I'm not from Arizona.
I'm not from Tulsa. I think I've been to Tulsa.
I'm an Angelino.
Yeah,
I'm straight here.
I think I went to a strip bar, and I had a lap dance, and she kind of turned around, and it was in my face.
And it was Sheriff Arpaio?
No, and then she kept asking me, her boyfriend, which was the bouncer, wanted to do a threesome, and she asked me my opinion of it. I says, go for it. Go for it. Listen, and it says, it says 848. Listen, I'm looking for an older woman in Tulsa. I'm a great-looking guy. Oh, wow, we've become a dating site.
Well,
whoa!
I'll tell you what. You did the first step, which is to make the announcement. Now, Here's the thing that you need to do. You need to take down 2 pieces of paper, all right? On one piece of paper, write down what you have willing to give and offer. On the other piece of paper, write down what it is that you want and you need. And when you look at that, so that when you meet that person, you are at least know ahead of time whether that person fits into the category. And when the person asks you, what have you got to offer, you know immediately what to say.
Yep.
So before you start looking for people or getting a relationship, do a self-assessment, write those 2 things down on 2 separate pieces of paper, what you're looking for and what you're willing to offer and give.
They said, that's what I was thinking. So what do you have to offer?
Me?
Yeah.
I have, well, you're going to have to ask her.
I have to get her on the show.
On the show. What I offer is in different aspects. It's more than just simply dominance. Okay? I offer my experience.
Mm-hmm.
I'm 54 years old. I've had lots of, I don't want to hide away from my age.
Well, I'm an older woman, but I don't live in Tulsa. I live in Los Angeles. I'm listening. Good ideas. Thank you. Thank you, guest.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah. These are things that you really want to look at. For me personally, there are many different things I have to offer. A lot of it probably is my value system.
Mm-hmm.
My intelligence,
mm-hmm.
my sense of humor, education, my worldview, my life view of that I'm a person who continues aspiring to improve themselves and to move forward, and rather than regressing, I continue to want to grow. And so the people that are with me and want to join me are also in that genre too.
Mm-hmm.
So when you come with me, you're also coming into an environment of people that are like-minded.
Mm-hmm.
And so that also helps to throw you forward. And
one of the things I like about you, Javier, is that you're informed. I really don't like being around people that are not informed in what's going on in the world. They don't pay attention to politics. I mean, I think it's really important to be informed. We have this fantasy world that we live in of BDSM,
Mhm.
you know, and we focus on only of that, and all we want to do is just live for the fantasy and then live for the
escapism.
play, the escapism, and we refuse to look at what's really transpiring throughout the world. I mean, there's a lot of things going on, but we're not going to make
Sure
this
is.
show on politics. I should have you come back. We should talk about politics.
Yeah, I've been around that scene too.
And we're gonna,
After when I graduated out of college, I used to manage political campaigns.
oh, wow.
Yeah.
It's 9 o'clock. I want to ask you, do you want to go a couple more minutes longer, or do you want...
Sure,
yeah,
we can do
it.
If the people in the TV audience, you know what? You tell me. Do you want to go forward a little bit more? Or do I say hasta la vista to this chick over here to my right?
I'm really glad that you're back. I mean, I really hope that you come back to TSR, because he's done... His show is... I think he gives the male, strong, het, elegant view on BDSM. And I don't know if you've noticed on TSR Network, we put a new banner at the bottom, and it's... I was talking to Javier last night, and I made the banner, and
thank you so much.
And he said I wanted to think of a tagline, and so what he said was, elegant lifestyle for elegant people.
Yeah.
So I made a banner. It takes up the whole bottom of TSR Network. It's on every single page because of Conquest. So sorry, Conquest in the Learnasad means it is my home. It will always be my home. It is a place where I discovered about who I was.
Mm-hmm.
Kane has always been respectful. They go, this is a great stream. I know I have come across it before, but I really didn't pay attention. I'm an ethical hacker and forward. And I guess I wanted to say that I think you guys have a great format. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. We hope to get back up to 7 live shows a week. And right now we're only up to 3. If Javier comes back, we'll be up to 4. I think this is a good format for Javier because I think that he gives something special, and I think that he gives the voice to the male dominance because you guys are beaten up a lot. You guys are criticized for being, a
lot of people that are in the lifestyle. I mean, let's face it, we have different collection of everyone, and some of the people that feel that they're the advanced guard of the sexual revolution that are continuing moving forward, and what they're afraid, well, if we allow these men to dominate women, we're regressing in the sexual revolution. Therefore, we must oppress them or stop them because they're keeping us from going forward, and they're going to send us back.
Are you talking about the feminists?
Everyone. Remember, you also have feminist men too, as well as feminist women. But it has nothing to do also with feminism too. I mean, people will take a look at their own particular kink and then feel it's threatened because they think male dominance is anti-sexual revolution, and so they're fearful of it, and they really shouldn't be, nothing at all, because it's through male, straight dominant men that we're able to reach out to the vanilla world, and therefore have the vanilla world to accept us as being something that they've seen, felt, grew up with, rather than looking at, oh, look at this freak show over here.
Well,
where they kind of, because I've talked to vanilla people many times, trying to convince them, trying to educate them, and a lot of times they look at us as caricatures. 50 Shades of Grey has helped a lot.
Oh, it has. I mean, there's so many people that come into my classes that have read 50 Shades of Grey. I got down to 220 pages and I put it down. The most viewed show that we've had on TSR Network was when we were closed down, when we lost the studio, when I did a show on reviewing the book.
Yeah.
Thousands and thousands and thousands of people have looked at that review.
And we've gone through this before. How I got into the lifestyle, how I got into actually, into this, what the mafia would say, Costa Nostra, this thing of ours, was in 1975. You know, I was 15 years old, and I saw the movie The Story of O. And at that time in the 70s, when the movie came out, The Story of O, wow, it became this big thing. People started reading the book again. People started, you know, they used to give like the little slave rings with the little O's, and that was popular throughout the 80s and that sort of thing. But there was challenges, you know, back then. I was very young. And when I got out of the Army and came back home, there were no places to go. You know, when you're 21, 22 years old, you know, I couldn't go down to, what was it? Not Dominion, but the other place, Chateau, right? It was too expensive. And the second thing is, they rarely had female submissives. It was mostly a dominatrix, which is what they used to call them back then. Even in 1986, I used to get stuff over at on Hollywood Boulevard and Sycamore. There was this adult bookstore, and if they knew you, right, they would take you downstairs to the basement where they had all the stuff. Of course, there was nothing there to show you. You know, there weren't books to show you how to use this stuff. There was no people to teach you, but they sold it if they trusted you. And so really for a lot of dominant men who weren't gay, who weren't part of the gay leather scene, right, or were professional dominatrix that were being trained by another dominatrix, right, we really had to basically convince our girlfriends and hope they didn't call the cops.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, this later on, you know, evolved where Cain, you know, bless his heart, was able to create a home and a place where a straight dominant man can be able to come to and be able to not only learn how to play and meet people who want to play with, you know, them. You know, it created a place that wasn't there before. And remember, most of you people here came, you know, during the time of the internet. For us that were before the internet, it was tough. It was hard and it was dangerous. And it was really looked down upon. You can imagine how much things have changed. And part of that change was conquest. Part of that change that made a face, that actually put a face on what a straight dominant man was, a conquest party.
And we're talking about this is in Los Angeles. I don't know if this was budding around to the country, but this was in Los Angeles. That was the concept, was a place where Cain and his friends that were, you know, all male doms could play. Yeah, exactly. And for the women to be able to come there, because many of the women, you know, they felt more comfortable. A female submissive or slave felt more comfortable being among other male dominant men and other female submissive slaves. They didn't feel like an outcast. You know, because believe it or not, a lot of submissive and slave women, they also get a pretty tough time. It's pretty hard on them. You know, they can't talk to their families many times. They can't talk to their friends, especially, you know, in the old days, like in the 1980s. It was really tough. They could not ever say that. When was Cinematics?
You know, which one?
Cinematics.
Cinematics.
Yeah, it was over on Santa Monica Boulevard. It's where all the performance guys started. Oh,
that came later. That's in the 90s.
Was that in the 90s?
Yeah.
I wanted to go, but I was too scared. I was too chicken.
Well, you know, a lot of this in the 1970s, you know, when the sexual revolution started going to the next level, from the theoretical of the 60s into the homes and stuff like that, you know, a lot of people will look at BDSM as something married couples did to spice up their sex life. You know, that's what it was looked at. It wasn't looked at as so much as a lifestyle, or, I mean, not, you know, the gay leather had that, but I mean, as far as heterosexuals, we didn't look at this like the way we started to in the 1980s and afterwards.
I remember having sex with a guy who was so rough with me. I mean, and it hurt, and he loved it. And he goes, that's just how he's wired. And it never occurred to me, because I knew nothing about BDSM. It never occurred to me that was, you know, we're talking, I was in my late 20s. It never occurred to me that this was a lifestyle or a life choice.
Well, he probably found many women that love rough sex, and he got positive feedback from it. And this is what also made him enjoy it even more. David Shade, of course, who does many things when it comes to sexuality, when he's come, and he writes too about how guys should be more dominant in bed, how women have been complaining for years because most of the men have become very and feminine, very feminized, and it really leads in the bedroom.
Oh yeah, I mean, if I'm a strong woman, but still I like aggressive men in the bedroom.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to say go to the right, go to the left, get on top, do this. I don't want to boss you around in the bedroom.
Yeah.
In my intimacy, we are equals. In my intimacy.
And many women want to surrender because orgasm really has a lot to do with surrender. Well, not for you because you're wired differently. But I mean, for many women, it's the ability to be able to surrender to a man, to trust that man to be able to surrender. And for a man, in order to be able to do that for a woman, he's got to be dominant outside of the bedroom as well as in.
Well, that's the reason why we get so many men that are dominant to the outside world and they're submissive to me, and it's great.
Well, you find remember there are different motivations for this. I mean, you've had couples that the man will take the dominant role in front of the children and in family, but when they get into the bedroom, they switch it around. Sometimes you may find men that, because of the positions or their job or responsibilities, they love taking a submissive role. Some men may have had very strong dominant women as mothers. And so it helps them to be able to go back into a place that they feel safe.
I found that a lot of the men that I have seen lately that have been in the military, I'm not talking about you because I know you've been in the military, that they make excellent submissives or slaves.
Well, it's just discipline.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's just like, yes ma'am.
But you know what? Really, you also find a lot of men in the military that will not make very good submissive or slaves. It's just that you just met the ones that want you. And because they want you, they know where you come. This is the Mistress Elvira, Mistress of the Dark of the San Fernando Valley. Yeah,
I'm starting to play again. It feels good. I played on Saturday night. I played last week Saturday. Having a good time.
Good. Well, you know what? It's nice to be able to get back to, we have the higher faculties and the lower faculties. We have our animal nature and then we have our a higher nature. One is the contemplative, which is the higher faculties. Animals themselves cannot contemplate their existence. This is what appeals to the higher faculties in us. And then we have the animal instinct.
You mean the cats that go,
why the fuck am I here? Who am I?
Or the dogs that look at you like, trying to stare you down, and then all of a sudden they go, and they can't take it.
Well,
sorry,
remember, that they're pack animals and it has to do, and plus also these are domesticated animals. But I have a new saying, that I came up with today when we're talking about, kind of balancing out our animal nature with our higher nature, and that is for you guys, what you need to do is you need to think like a Greek philosopher and fuck like a caveman.
Oh, I like that. Well, like my mother. Well, my mother taught me a very, very valuable thing. We have another person that's come in the chat room. Welcome. My mother said, Melody, always be a. Can you hear that? The mics are picking up. She's really masturbating. That's really what she's doing.
Is that what your mother was? I thought your mother said, "Get out."
No, my mother said. Always be a lady in public, always be a good cook in the kitchen, and always be a whore in bed. And I believe in that.
Well, yeah, of course.
I think women, I mean, this is only, we can have this conversation because he's been with only women. I think that when women are sexual and they're in the bed and they are fucking, they're having this, they become, I don't care if it's the ugliest woman in the world, they become absolutely beautiful. Their faces get calm, they look at you, they melt. I think women, when they are having sex, are absolutely beautiful.
Well, only when women are having good sex.
Good sex?
Yeah, because when women are having bad sex, believe me, you get a different type of look.
Is it like, oh, I think there's cracks in the ceiling, it has to be painted?
Yeah, or it's like, or it's just, when are you going to start? Oh, I was done 5 minutes ago,
Let me do my nails.
But no, really, there's a glow to women. And, I kind of coined a term calling it the PC look, the post-coitus look.
The PC look.
That's right, the post-coitus look. You know, they got this beautiful look, and like this woman right here, she is so gorgeous and beautiful. But you know, when she's got that PC
well, she'd be
look,
beautiful
she's like
even with
angel.
a paper bag over her head. She's beautiful. I mean, she's beautiful. She's got a great body, but she's also got beautiful energy, beautiful face.
You know the thing that one of the wonderful things about her, she's kind. She's very kind. I've never ever heard her say one negative thing about anybody or anything bad. She has a wonderful heart.
Kindness is important.
Yeah.
And I think that we've lost a lot of that in our community.
Well, you know,
it's really hard. It's really hard to keep my mouth shut and to watch what I have seen has transpired in the last 7 or 8 years in our community. Well, it is not the same.
Remember, the bigger the party, the more likely is assholes will show up.
Yeah.
You know, and that's just natural. It will happen. We are going to get bad things that are going to happen. Matter of fact, I would say we've been very lucky that we have not been getting really bad press and bad things have happened.
Well, we're going to get some bad press or some things that have come up, but we're not going to talk about it.
But you know,
lots of things.
These things will happen. All we can do is just be true to ourselves. All we have to do is just continue to do the right thing, and then people will see the difference. People will realize, you know what? Not everybody in this lifestyle, in this community, is like this. And there's, you know, eventually karma.
Yep.
You know, you go out there acting like an asshole. Guess what? It's going to come back to you.
They go the O face. Can we do that? Come on, do the O face. Come on. I think it's time we.
Hi, yes, my little chickadee.
I think it's time we say goodnight. What do you think?
Yeah.
You think it's time we say goodnight?
Oh, she's getting antsy.
Yeah, that's okay.
You got ants in your pants?
No. She's hungry. Are you going to take her out to eat?
Well, I just took her to Bob's Big Boy. You know how much she just ate right now?
I love Bob's Big Boy.
This woman just chucked down chicken parmesan and a big sundae, you know?
Good for her.
She was even surprised herself.
Good for her.
But you know what? She's a good girl. I take care of her.
I have to go on a diet because my daughter's getting married in the 18th of October, so I've got to. I want to get.
Wait a second, hold on. The 18th of October?
Yeah.
She told me it was the 12th of October. She doesn't want you there, does she? I guess she doesn't want to scare off the groom, huh?
Yeah, well, I'm the mother of the fucking bride. And she did tell me today that I can wear black.
Really?
Yeah. She goes, Mom.
It's a Sicilian thing, right?
Yeah. No, Mom, if you feel comfortable in wearing black, then Mom, wear black. But I just bought a couple blue things to wear. I went to a thing on Friday.
No, she wants you to wear black because she can tell everybody, oh yeah, that's the nun. You know, she's not. I don't know her.
I don't know that, but I want to thank you so much for coming onto the show.
No problem at all.
This has been absolutely wonderful.
Thank you.
And we hope to have him back with his own show, the Dom Javier Show, because it's an awesome show. We really miss it. And petition him. They go Masatov. Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, 551. Thank you. Yeah, I'm going to be the mother of the bride, I think I've been talking about. So I'm excited about it. But
well, to all of you people out there in TV land, all you perverts out there, you know, it was. I haven't forgotten all of you. You know, I never really thank the support and all the help and all of the wonderful love and viewership I had on the Dom Javier Show. For some of you who don't know my show, you can always go to the Dom Javier Show group, look at the links that are there, and you can take a look at some of the previous shows. I think right before the show closed, we did a whole month devoted to servitude. Mm-hmm. And we had Venus de Mila, Sir Mel, Ophrys Black, we had King, all of them talking about their different versions and stuff. So there's different great shows you can watch. And while you're out there, too, remember, TSR Network also has all these other previous shows, too, you know, that you can click on and you can watch. So
yeah, they can go to the archives.
Yeah, and go to the archives.
The tab archives. The ones that are the older shows where we used to show nudity,
mm-hmm.
It was on Vocal. So you can click on there. You can see all of the shows for quite a few years. Amazing shows, amazing interviews, and then all the new shows are there that are broadcast live on YouTube, which is really great because since we are broadcasting on YouTube, the
audience is expanded.
Oh, all over the world,
and it's much easier to see. You know, the previous shows.
Yeah,
it's much easier.
And most of my interviews are done a little differently now because I want to interview people from all over the country. So normally they can't fly in just to do a show. So we've been able to do this without having anybody here to work the board. But I want to thank Gina today for starting the show. And then as soon as I give her the okay, she'll go and she'll end it. And it was really great having her here.
Honey, take cash, all right? Don't take a check.
But Javier, I hope you come back soon.
Thank you. And thank you for helping us with Conquest. Remember, everybody, 4th of July, this Friday, Lair Decide, Conquest Night. Now, I think there may be a class or some stuff that we may do beforehand, but normally the party will start at 9 p.m., you know? So if you're in the Los Angeles area, it's a great place. Gentlemen, guys, come on. You got to look like a man. Remember, my father taught me to dress like a man, and the Army showed me how to shine boots. So, you know what? Shine your shoes, put on a suit and tie or a sport jacket.
And your mother taught you how to respect women, because you do respect women. Oh, don't give me that look. I know you do. You're a man of honor. All men of honor should respect women.
Well, of course, because, you know what? We take care of our property. We love our treasure, you know.
Oh, good boy. I love you.
Look at that. My toes vibrating.
Gina's going, she's disrespecting my dominant. I'm going to come and pounce on her. No, we have a running gag together.
And you know what?
Respect him.
I would have to say that you've made some changes. You know, back in the old TSR studios, you used to run around pole dancing and naked, you know, all over the place. She used to run around the place naked. She used to be pole dancing all over the freaking place. When she wasn't down in San Pedro, when the ships were pulling in, you know, stuff like that. I tell you, you know, how this woman ever made time to be able to do that show. But, you know, she used to try to distract, but the show went on.
It was a dirty job. Someone had to do it.
Somebody had to do it.
Yeah. But I want to thank you all for watching the show.
And thank you for supporting the old Dom's home. And thank you for supporting the Dom Club.
Yeah.
For all you people who helped us with our events there.
You know, the Lair I always support. That's my home. It is my home. It will always be my home.
And it's the home for you alpha dominant men who want to show up there this Friday, Conquest Night. That's right. Wear a suit and tie. If you ain't got a suit and tie, wear a blazer and tie or a sport jacket and tie or wear a tuxedo. And if you don't have any of that, tell you what, Los Angeles Street in downtown LA, you can get it for $49. That's right. $49, I see.
It's like a used car salesman.
That's right. And you know what? I tell you what, if you buy that suit for $49, I'll throw in my dog Spot.
God, it's like, oh my God! I think what if an elephant walks behind us? You know.
Well, you know what? I heard this joke over at the old Dom's home. Turned out that there was one of the old Doms there, right? And I remember, you know, at the old Dom's home, we got some, you know, guys. They still got it, you know.
You still got it.
You know, so there was
still got it. You still got it.
So this guy's about 80 years old. Believe it or not. So we got an 80-year-old Dom there, and he had this submissive, this new girl, 20 years old, right? Hot, beautiful young thing. She wanted to get married. And the guy said, you know, honey, I can't marry you. He said, I'm 80 years old. My dick doesn't work. And the girl said, well, you know what? I know a doctor who does penile implants. You know, he could fix you up. And the guy said, okay, I'll go and talk to him. So, you know, the next day he talks to the doc. The doc says to him, no problem. We can give you a penile implant. He says, doc, that's not the problem. Okay, I'm going to tell you the real problem. Besides that, now, the fact is I got the dick the size of a chipmunk dick. Okay? I can't keep this 20-year-old girl happy. You know, doc says, don't worry, we do penile transplants here too. He says, really? Yeah, we'll give you a new dick. He says, what's the biggest cock you can give me? He said, well, tell you what, we can give you a baby elephant trunk. Okay? We can connect the nerves and everything like this, and you have a baby elephant trunk. Now, this actually happened at the Dom Club. I'm sorry, not at the Dom Club. It was at the old Dom's home. This was at the old Dom's home. All right? So this guy, right, He says, sure, he went for it. Well, now they're going to get married the next day, so he's meeting the future in-laws. They're having dinner and stuff, and the girl's getting fucking hot thinking about this baby elephant trunk, So she's rubbing it and rubbing it. The thing's getting harder and harder and harder. All of a sudden, bam, the thing rips right out of his pants, grabs a potato on the table, and disappears under it. Everybody's going, what the fuck is that? And the mom of the bride-to-be says, is that what I think it is? And the guy goes, yeah, it is. He says, can you do it again? He says, I don't know if my asshole can handle another potato.
With that, bada bing. Thank you all for
Bada boom.
watching the show. I really, really appreciate it. And we're giving Gina some time, and I'm just going to tell her when to click the thing. Just have a seat. And we want to thank you all for watching the show. It's been really great having Dom Javier back on the show. And this is where we are changing the world one vanilla at a time. It's where we are all changing the world one vanilla at a time. So have a great night, everybody. Thank you for joining us, and we love you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.